There's one thing I was going to say when I was raised on the farm. We used to live between two railroad tracks, and the bums used to come off to our house and get a sandwich from Mom, and us kids would sit on the porch and eat with them.
Yeah.
Really?
Nowadays, you'd be
My
scared
mom
to
always
death.
did that.
Oh, we did that too all the time.
I know. She
Really?
said, well, she'd always say, well, I don't have anything, but I've got jelly and peanut butter, and I'll give you a glass of milk. I think they marked our steps because it seemed like every day there was somebody, coming. But, she always said, well, I don't have much, but I could give you a sandwich. And,
Wow.
it was in the summertime most of the time, and they'd sit under the tree and eat their sandwich and drink the glass of milk.
I did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And where did they come from? Did they come from the train? Or
Yeah,
did
they were
come-
just
They go right back to the
It was
train.
a few blocks away.
So the
in
train-
Edward.
And jump on it again.
They had to live close to a track where with
Going through
give it to
town.
God,
Right.
a switch,
Yeah.
because otherwise the train wouldn't stop,
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I
Travel
see.
too fast.
Oh, so the train had to be stopping for a reason.
It had to
Yeah.
be stopping or
Yeah.
close to it.
Yeah.
And
The reason they,
hobo,
I
or-
lived, when we were married, I just lived 2 blocks from the railroad track.
Okay.
And they stopped there because they had to pick up water.
Yeah, sure.
Or
They-
put
they-
coal in or something.
Yeah.
They used to
They
stop.
always, and
They were
drop
doing
off mail.
something.
And they jump on the train as it was starting out.
That's right.
see?
So do you know where was this? Did they come from St. Louis or did they come from? You just,
All over.
Yeah.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting part of history that they had to get back on the train sooner or
Well,
later, right?
A lot of it
somewhere,
was
but
during
I
the
don't know where.
Depression. A lot
Maybe
of
a
it was
different
during
train
the
that's
Depression.
going somewhere. I don't know.
Why,
Yeah.
on
lot
the
of-
Illinois Central, we used to have a kind of a little bit of a thing between us, the kids,
Mm-hmm.
how many they was on. And that train was just full of them, just like you hold your hands up.
Well, it was during the Depression.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Yeah.
the men
Yeah.
didn't have jobs. And
Yeah.
I hear that there was a job someplace. So they would travel
traveling.
wherever there was
Yeah.
a job.
And they would just So
But-
they didn't buy tickets on this
Oh,
train.
no,
They would
there
jump.
would be an empty car
What?
open,
They
the
didn't
doors
buy
would open,
tickets on
they'd
the
get in the door.
train for the train. They just hopped on the train.
Yeah, they
They
hopped
just
on
hopped
the train.
on it.
You wouldn't see that many on every train,
No.
but
Right.
just on certain trains,
Yeah.
they would get on them box cars and
Yeah.
all. They
Yeah.
were
Well, I know we were in New Orleans one time. Now, this has been maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Mhm.
We went there, and the one night we went down to a well, no, it was our hotel on the main street, not in the, what do they call, the French
Yeah,
Seventh.
French quarters or
French
something.
quarters.
It wasn't there, it was on the main street
Yeah.
of New Orleans. And there were a lot of stores
Mhm.
on that street. And we walked, my brother-in-law, he went there a lot of times, but he said, I want you to see what happens at night on New Orleans on that street.
Mhm.
So we walked up and down, the 4 of us. Every store, there was a basket, like from the grocery,
Yeah.
one on one side and one, the stores were indented. And the glass all around, you know how they were?
Yeah. Remember that?
Okay, every store had a man and a basket in it on one side and another man on that side, all the way up and down that street. And they go there in the wintertime because it's warm.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Or Florida,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
California, wherever it's warm. In the summertime, they'll move north.
What was really interesting about that was it was just as it was said, my grandmother and that used to always make sandwiches. But what was interesting of it was is as children we always went down there, and our parents knew we went down there. And we went down to the railroad yards and used to sit and talk to these people. And so a lot of the news actually came from these guys on the train.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what was really phenomenal about it is that as young children we went down and we spent time with these people and so on, and never once did I ever hear that a child was touched.
No.
Because
You're
if a
right.
child
Yeah.
was touched in
You're
those
very
days,
right on that, because
you,
I had
you
little
were
children
facing a
too.
lynch mob.
You were.
That was all it was to it. So there
And
was,
they were, you never were afraid of them.
no,
No.
no, there was no fear. You could go down there and they would tell you the stories of the riding the rails, so to speak.
Wow.
And but we were, you know, and our parents knew, and it was a safe environment.
Yeah.
And then when the train came, well, they had to leave.
Wow. And they were probably happy to see you too. That probably gave
Oh
you
yeah,
something to
well,
talk-
it's sort of the only family they had,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it was a safe environment.
Yeah.
And it was a safe environment here in Highland
Yeah.
with, when we raised our children.
Yes.
They could go any place, you
Yeah.
never worried about them.
Were there trolleys back here in
Not in
Highland?
this, St. Louis.
not here.
I'm saying, but nothing came to, okay. So how did people get around in Highland?
Car.
Bus.
You-
Bus, I guess.
Car.
You had
And
the
car,
car,
yeah.
when cars were available.
Brand new
Bicycle.
Model A's with some people.
Kids rode bicycles every place.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in Edwardsville, we had the streetcar.
Yes.
That's
That
right.
came through, and you could go to St. Louis and up to Springfield. I don't know how far it went,
Yeah,
but
I know.
we
what to
used that a
Staunton
lot.
and- Yeah, yeah.
I think I wanted Edwardsville just went to Springfield. Or maybe it went out to Chicago, but that's as far as they went.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know we went to
It was,
Springfield.
they called it the terminal, didn't they?
I
Called
can't.
it what?
A terminal?
The terminal.
The terminal, Chicago, the Illinois
I know
terminal?
it goes to
or-
went to Springfield because
Yeah.
when I played in the band when I was in school, and the priest took us up to the state fair on the streetcar, and took, you know, some parents went along to kind of chaperone,
Yeah,
and but I don't know how far it went beyond that. But it might have went up to, I don't know,
Bloomington was up next.
Bloomington. Yeah, I think it went that far. At least I know, because we had a contest up there that you know, a band contest, and some of us went on the streetcar up there, and then I know we didn't have a way home, so my dad drove up after he got finished whatever he was doing. He was a carpenter and contractor, and he picked us up after because my mom, she came back on the streetcar, so it went that far. But I couldn't come because I had there was four of us. We played a quartet, and we played later in the day, and so then my dad came and picked us up. But it went to Bloomington. And then also at Springfield, when they had the fair, the band went on the streetcar, uniforms and everything, you know. And the one thing, I think all the kids, they had a store there in Springfield. Every time the fair, you know, they mentioned it's well, I think last week the Springfield, they had a store, and it had like different lunch meats and stuff, like bacon and that, and it was it's showing, you know, meat, but it was candy, and you could buy it. And, you know, here you'd be eating a piece of bacon, but it was candy. And we had, I think we all spent, we had, you know, a little money to spend. We spent most of our money there trying out different lunch meats that were candy.
that is a great
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. They had a parade, and we marched in the parade. Opening day,
It was good.
yeah.
My experience in going to Springfield Fair was with my dad and my grandpa. And that was the biggest mistake in the world. Because Dad was interested in the farm machinery, and Grandpa, and they also wanted to see the machinery, or the cattle. And that's all they was interested in. And I was interested in the I forget what they used to call it. Anyway, the entertainment.
Yeah, the rides and all that, the
Entertainment.
Ferris
Yeah.
wheel and all
Yeah,
that stuff, yeah.
They weren't interested in that.
So you didn't get to do that?
You didn't get-
No.
You know, I knew a couple later on. That would be their vacation. They would go up and get a motel or something and stay the whole week. She would take her needlework or something and stay in the hotel or motel. And he, wanted to go see all the cattle and everything. But at night they had a good entertainment. Different groups would come in. Then they would go together and enjoy that. But
They would-
that's
They
what they
would
did.
they would have some pretty good acts.
Oh, they had good.
didn't
Yeah, they had good things.
But we didn't get to see that. See?
I
know
know.
that.
See, you had to look at the horses or
I've
cows.
never been to the Springfield Fair.
Never.
No.
It was interesting.
Were you?
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish,
It was a
I
big
always
thing.
wished that we had, but
It
no.
was like you were going to New York, or something. Oh man, that was a big deal.